Hello, Gold Derbyites. Welcome back to another edition of Awards Magnet. I'm Deputy Editor Ethan Alter, joined by Senior Editors Kevin Sullivan and Mia McNiece. And on this week's episode, we're counting down our favorite movies of 2025. You're hearing this on January 2nd, after the new year is over, but we can't let 2025 go completely without our last looks at what our favorite movies of the year were. So we came equipped with our top 10 lists, as opposed to some of our other picks for celebrating the year in film. So I'm excited to hear what both of your picks are. We haven't talked about this ahead of time, so we're going to discover this in real time. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't end in the shouting match. Yeah.
We're all very nice here. It'll be respectful shouting if it is shouting.
All right.
At a level decibel. All right. Well, we're gonna dive in right away, and I think let's go two at a time. So let's start with 10 and 9 until we get to the number 2 and number 1, and drag out the drama at that point. So Mia, why don't you kick us off with your number 10 and number 9 movies?
Oh my goodness, you're going out of order. So I think this was a weird year for me in that I really didn't have like an all-out favorite. I had a lot of films that I liked, but anyways, I think my 9 and 10, I am going to go with Frankenstein and Is This Thing On? They made my top 10 list, but probably closer to the bottom. Is This Thing On was actually surprising. I enjoyed it more than I didn't really know what to expect going into it. So it did make my top 10 list. Frankenstein as well, I really enjoyed, but just there was other ones I liked a little bit more this year.
Yeah, no, the Frankenstein comeback has been real. I remember seeing it in Toronto, and the word of mouth coming out was mixed, but as people discovered it, both in the industry and on Netflix, it really has. So I need to give it another look. I think maybe remove from the Toronto spotlight. I'll because I do love Guillermo, and there's a lot in it I like. I just, expectations versus what you see.
Exactly.
That was when I was actually really glad to see people kind of embrace in Netflix in a way that I haven't seen a lot of the original movies connect. And it did get a warmer reception than I saw it kind of coming out of the festivals when there's so much scrutiny. I thought it deserved so. A movie that I wanted to embrace more, kind of like Ethan, but generally had a good time with, and was just heartened to see people really kind of engaging with.
Right. Absolutely. All right, Kevin, what are your 10 and 9?
My 10 and 9, well, speaking of Netflix movies that engaged more than I thought they would. My number 10 is Train Dreams, which is probably my big regret of the year. I didn't actually get to make it out to theaters to see it on the big screen, which anyone who's seen it would understand why. It's just one of the most gorgeous movies of the year. The cinematography is phenomenal. But it actually played incredibly well on my TV, which I was quite shocked by because it is such a quiet film. A really great turn from Joel Edgerton, someone I've really enjoyed watching for a number of years, and I think is probably on the verge of getting some acknowledgement that's kind of long overdue for him. Someone who's just always delivered really solid work. And yeah, I mean, it's just you get out there in the Pacific Northwest, you're just it's lumberjack core. It's everything that I like. Just a really a wonderful movie, and I want Will Patton to narrate my sad little life. And then number 9, I'm going to go with Splitsville, which is a movie that I think didn't get nearly the amount of recognition that it deserved, coming from the team of Michael Angelo Covino and his co-writer Kyle Marvin. They did The Climb. If anyone saw that was a movie that came out of Sundance, and I believe it just kind of had unfortunate timing with COVID. It was one of those movies that kind of got buried, but it was an indie comedy that had a lot of love. And this is their follow-up to that, which it also it stars the two of them alongside Dakota Johnson and Adria Arjona, and it's a rom-com, but it's absurd, it's filthy, it's got one of the best fight scenes of the year, laugh out loud funny, kind of I'll sneak in a mention of The Naked Gun there as two theatrical comedies that really reminded us how to laugh. No, that it is nice to laugh as a group, and I'd love to see more of this kind of thing. Films with actual jokes in them.
Yeah, 100%. You sold me on Splitsville. That's on my pile to watch, and so no, I need to make time for it for sure.
Really good.
That one I've heard really good things about. My number 10, there'll be a certain vampire movie that I'm sure we'll talk about more down the line in a bit. But the one I want to call out as my number 10 is from Romania. It's from the Romania auteur Radu Jad, whose movies are quickly becoming some of my favorites. I did Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World the other year, and this new one is a 3-hour essay film, period drama, ribald comedy, comment on AI. It's something. It is a delightful experience. If you know and love this director's work, it fits in completely with how he approaches cinema, how he thinks about cinema. And his just wild inventiveness is fully on display. And one of the best movies I think about AI and AI's intrusion on filmmaking that I've seen. So so even if it has the title Dracula, rest assured it's no conventional Dracula film as you might expect from him. But it's a wild ride, and I hope people see it. It's already in theaters, but it'll be on it's on various streaming services now, I'm sure. So definitely recommend that one. And then number 9 was a sort of a surprise for me because while I was watching it, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But it's Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love with Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson, and that movie is while you're watching it, you're not quite sure what it is. I don't even know if they knew what it was while they were shooting it. And I know that they had to go back and recut it at a certain point. But I think there's just something so evocative about what they're doing, and in terms of placing this small domestic drama against this expansive Midwestern bleak landscape. And Jennifer Lawrence is great in it. I've compared her performance to John Belushi because she just barges into a scene and everyone has to deal with her and the big choices she's making. It's a great performance, and I think as I've been thinking about it, it's really stuck with me since seeing it. And I think it navigates the fault lines in a relationship with a real attention to detail and a lot of humor, in addition to some really wrenching moments. So yeah, Die My Love is my number 9. All right, let's hop to 8 and 7.
Here I'm going to overlap a little bit with Kevin, with my Train Dreams. Falls a little bit higher for me. I thought the story was beautiful. Obviously the cinematography, and I really just love the kind of quietness of it. So that one was a little bit higher for me. Also one that had a lot of hype at the beginning that has now died down, but I still appreciated it for what it was Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. I actually really liked the performances. I mean, it was a good story about a father and a son, and I don't know, yeah, it came out with a lot of hoopla and hype, and then it's kind of died down. But I think if you watched it without all of that, it's still a really good solid movie with great performances, and I think those would be my next 2.
How do you feel about the awards odds on Jeremy Allen White at this point? That's what I think I'm curious about the most.
I'm surprised by it. I mean, the man became Bruce Springsteen. It's not an easy feat, you guys, and everyone's just like, oh, do. I don't know. I think there should be more, and I'm curious what will happen on nomination day.
Listen, no one else became Bruce Springsteen in the film this year.
That's right. He can always hold on to that.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, what's your 8 and 7?
Okay, this is where I'm questioning myself a little bit. We're gonna go with it. Number 8, I'm gonna say, is my spot for Marty Supreme. I think it's impeccably constructed, so well acted, an incredible ride, and I'm excited for it to hopefully find an audience. I think the marketing genius of Timothée Chalamet will hopefully make that happen. It's got the best use of Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank in any movie this year. It's absolutely scratched an itch for all the Uncut Gems freaks out there like myself. And yeah, I think it's one I'm going to be revisiting. I could see it climbing higher. It's one of the ones I've seen more recently, but that's where it's landing right now. And then just ahead of it, I've got Wake Up Dead Man, the third Knives Out movie from Rian Johnson. This is the movie that I think I'm already, especially looking at it from the awards angle, I'm already seeing it being graded on a curve just because of how consistently good these movies are. And I think how Rian Johnson movies are reviewed now, where it's just like, oh, it's good. Like, oh, it's smart. Oh, what else do you got? But I think it delivers on the mystery format in the way that his previous 2 entries have. But also explores faith in a really, really interesting way, with, actual opinions and viewpoints about the state of the world and faith's interaction with it. that I already feel it not getting enough credit. People are watching it. People are talking about Josh O'Connor and his neck tattoo. And so I think there is love for it out there, but I'm already kind of preparing myself for it not getting the awards love that it deserves.
I wonder if people watch it more over the holidays and it's on Netflix and they can view it. And, because like I have to be honest, I have not had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm planning to over the holidays. So if there's more people like me out there, then perhaps it will gain more popularity once people see it.
Yeah, I think you are right, and I think the hope I'm holding out for it is the writers branch kind of coming through again and giving the honorary Ryan Johnson slot to Ryan Johnson, because these things are just they're so well written, and I literally turned to my wife after the screening edited, and I said, why can't all movies be Knives Out movies? And I don't literally want that, but I do feel like we're getting spoiled here.
Yeah, for sure. Would you say it's your favorite of the trilogy then, as Wake Up Dead Man your top?
I don't think it kind of surpassed that electric feeling that the first Knives Out left me with,
Right.
where I had watched it for work and I watched it on a stream link, and hours later started it and watched it again. So twice in the same day, where I couldn't believe how kind of, like I said, electric that was. I think that it sits together as a whole better than Glass Onion. It's doing something very different. They all do. But I think the aesthetics, the performances, and kind of the thematics really resonated with me in a way that probably puts it firmly at number 2.
My number 8, Mia, you and I are thinking on the same track. Train Dreams, a terrific film. Got to see that in Toronto, and it was a moment where I felt like I stepped out of time a little bit and just got to live in that Pacific Northwest atmosphere. And you could feel the audience sort of collectively feel that way as well. I think we all sort of just were like, oh, we're taking a journey here. We're going on a real journey here. And then the last scene lands, to put a fine point on it, lands the plane, I think, extremely well, which is a beautiful, beautiful ending with the narration kicking in, the music kicking in, Joel Edgerton's bearded face kicking in. It's a beautiful, beautiful ending. One of probably my favorite ending of the year for sure. And made me feel just carried out of the theater on that wave of mixture of emotions. So yeah, Train Dreams number 8, and then speaking of great endings, my number 7 It Was Just an Accident, the Jafar Panahi film, which again has a terrific ending, very different tone, definitely less hopeful, definitely less a very very different tone at the end there, but it's pays off the journey so effectively, and that movie is fascinating too because Panahi is sort of working in a more commercial vein. The story's telling is about people going on sort of a revenge mission in a more dramatic way, and they have to determine the identity of the person they've kidnapped to find out if he's the prison guard that tortured them in an Iranian prison years before. And so that's the general setup, and you follow them through the day. There's lots of bits of wry humor mixed in along with that drama, and then it just ends in this really great emotional climactic monologue by the man they've captured, and that leads into the final sequence. So it's a really terrific movie, and I'm very glad that's resonating as much as it has been on the award circuit. And I still think Panahi is definitely a leading contender in the directing race right now, based on his own experience and just the movie he's crafted here. That plays really, really well.
Arguably, that movie has the 2 best endings of of the year. You can go with the second to last scene or the last scene. I think it's. I'll talk a little bit about it later, but yeah, phenomenal.
All right, 6 and 5, Mia. What are your 6 and 5?
Yeah, my 6, I'm gonna go with Begonia. And I do have to preface this by saying I saw this I did 2 screenings in one day. So I went and saw Nuremberg in the morning. And man, I mean, as powerful and important as that film is, it really puts you in a zone.
Right.
And so then I went straight from that to Begonia, and I was so delighted that something so kind of weird and bizarre kind of took me out of the real world. And so perhaps I just want to preface that could be a reason for me even enjoying it even more. But I was so there for just the weirdness and the fun and, almost the creepiness of it all after seeing something that was so gut wrenching and actually based on real events. And, still some of the themes were relevant to the world today. So I was just I needed this escape. So I put that down for me. And then my next one is Rental Family. I actually think this is just such a sweet, solid great film. I'm surprised it's not getting more awards buzz, but I just think, Brendan's great in it. It's a great story. And like you were kind of just saying about Train Dreams, it really takes you into this like totally different world, and you're kind of immersed in it. And I made my list for sure.
Yeah, no, it is surprising that movie sort of fell off because at Toronto it was very well received. I was surprised it just didn't, and people love Brendan Fraser. He's got this a huge fan base following him. But I'm surprised that one just doesn't seem to have connected, given all that.
Yeah, it's a shame that that Nurangonia wasn't the Barbenheimer of this year. I think we really had something.
There we go.
It's not too late. Maybe we can.
Rami Malek and Emma Stone compete.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, Kevin, what's your 6 and 5?
6 and 5. Oh, this is a good year. Number 6, I've got Weapons, the latest from Zach Kreger. When that arguably one of the trailers of the year. Just that the creepy atmosphere. I think just that excitement, people coming off of Barbarian, entering a theater, not knowing what to expect. It felt like it kind of tapped into a theater going experience that I haven't really felt in a long time. Just like a big studio movie, and we're just going to go along with it, and we have no idea where it's going to take us, and where it takes us is one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie, and Amy Madigan, and just so much fun, horrifying, and also just so surprisingly funny. The moment I always think about, oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. Who's the lead actress from Ozark?
Julia Garner.
Julia Garner. Oh my god, yeah, Julia Garner, pleading with the gas station owner to effing help her, is such a beautiful and pure moment, that I've thought about so many times since then. And then a very different film for number 5. I've got The Secret Agent, Brazil's international language or international feature entry this year, starring Wagner Moura, just a 1970s political thriller of a very different stripe. It's such an interesting movie, such a personal movie, you can tell. Just loving attention to detail in the production design. The scale of it is, I think it's doing something with its title and the genre trappings that it's in. It's called The Secret Agent. It's very much styled as a political thriller, something that Costa Gavras might have made. But it's a much more personal, much quieter movie than that. And as a huge fan of that genre, it played into everything I love about it, but then also kind of subverted it in such a touching and beautiful way. That has really stuck with me, and I'm glad to see Wagner's getting good awards attention, and that this movie, just in general, is kind of part of the larger conversation about how strong the international slate is this year.
Absolutely, yeah. You're hearing it constantly, and like when I think when we're at events and overhearing people talk about Secret Agent, one comes up again and again for sure. So yeah. Very good pick. My number 6 is Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. Now, this is probably my favorite PTA, at least since The Master. I would definitely say this is my favorite of his achievements. The movie itself is still so great. It's just such a well-told story, so many great directorial choices, and it's a great example of an auteur working on a blockbuster scale and delivering something that is ultra commercial while also being very specific to what he does so well, and so many great directing choices throughout. So a really terrific movie. I know I'll be rewatching it again and again. It's 2.5 hours, but it flies by while you're watching it. And then my number 5 choice is sort of the alternate to that, which is Chloe Zhao's Hamnet. And this one is interesting because unlike the sort of sprawl of One Battle After Another, it's so tight and focused and so elemental. And I think it's deceptively simple and straightforward in its story and what it's doing. But it packs a real emotional wallop, as everyone is warned ahead of time. By the time you get to that end, especially, and what I appreciate so much about it is the way she plays with the idea of stagecraft, both in the real world and then when we move to the globe, how those two worlds mirror each other, how the afterlife is depicted is really beautifully done. It's just a film of just simple, powerful emotions that drive the story forward. So that one, again, another experience I had at Toronto where I went into the theater to watch it and came out and I sort of was blinking in the sunlight saying, "Oh, I'm in the 21st century. I was just in medieval England. Suddenly I'm back." I've been transported back to the future. So yeah, no, the Hamnitz is the real deal for sure.
Are you a crier, Ethan?
I can be, yes. I can, but I resist. I put up walls. So if you can bang through those walls like the Kool-Aid Man, you can get me. And Chloe Zhao did for sure. All right, let's hop to number 4 and number 3. Mia, what's your 4 and 3?
My 4 and 3, I definitely don't recommend watching back to back unless you have a Xanax. But my fourth is House of Dynamite. I really thought this was just such a well-crafted film. I know people had issues with it, but with the ending, that part did not bother me at all. I didn't need to see an explosion. I just thought that it was well written, well acted. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I actually watched it twice and was liked it equally the same. I mean, the second time around. So I really liked this film. I thought Catherine Bigelow did a great job. I thought Noah Oppenheimer's script was amazing, and it really, really drew me in. And then my number 3 is One Battle After Another, which is why I say don't watch both of these, because they are very anxiety-inducing films. But if you spread them out, they're great films. Like everything you just said, as well about One Battle. I just thought it was a great film. I think Kevin and I went to an early screening of it, even before all the kind of hype. So, still loved it. The acting, I thought Benicio, I think he needs more attention for his role in this film. I think he did so great. And same with Chase Infinity. Those two really, stuck out for me for the film, and it made my number 3.
Yeah, Benicio's the one. I think you can see it in the way sort of the response to his performance has been getting in the past few weeks. People are really discovering him, especially. He underplays everything, which is really nice. But then when you go back and watch again, you notice all the things he's doing. You're like, oh wow, he really thought about this. He knows exactly how to fit into this ensemble.
Totally. Even I was interviewing Will Arnett like for another movie, and he brought up Benicio's performance, and he said people don't realize how hard what he's doing actually is. Like they just don't get the depth of it. So I think people are noticing it, but I think it was really great. It might be slightly overshadowed when you have Leonardo DiCaprio and you have Sean Penn in these explosive scenes, but his performance was amazing.
Yeah, line delivery of the year, I think, with a few small bears.
All right, Kevin, 4 and 3.
4 and 3 for my number 4. We are heading to the Bone Temple. Everybody, this is 28 years later. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland returning to the zombie franchise that they're revolutionized with. What is the most surprising heartwarming coming of age story of the year? It felt like honestly something that I would watched as a kid about going out into the scary world and really growing up. It's such a strangely sweet movie that also has a ton of frontal male nudity in it, that it's so surprising. And I think the notion of them just returning to the series was questionable, but then also this plan to do 3 films was I didn't know what to expect, and I think that the trailer, which kind of entranced everyone, which was so frightening, I think it lived up to that trailer, but then also was something so much more heartfelt, and just the appearance of Ralph Fiennes late in the film, and just the masterclass he puts on of just being phenomenal, but then it just such a good actor, such a steady hand, and in this case, incredibly kind. Just a beautiful, beautiful movie. And I cannot wait till a few weeks from now when we go back to the Bone Temple with Nia DaCosta's
right.
sequel. It's going to be. I'm very, very excited. And then number 3 is where I have Sinners. We got the Jack O'Connell connection between my 3 and 4. We're getting into a superlative category where these things are difficult to talk about. I think Sinners is one we're going to be kind of reckoning with for a long time to come. I just remember sitting in the theater feeling like I was seeing something huge and something that was going to last for a really, really long time. And I think suffice it to say that Ryan Coogler will see returns on when the copyright reverts to him in 25 years, because I think we're still going to be talking about this one for a really, really long time. Incredible cinematography, performances top to bottom, so great. Music, I mean, the I Lied to You fantasy sequence, it literally brought me to tears of just like, wow, the movies are amazing, and look what they can do.
You're both
The,
crying all the time now with these movies.
Tears everywhere.
Enough cannot be said.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sinners is definitely one that is going to age very, very well. And to your point, I think Ryan Coogler getting the rights again, 25 years, just wait. Whatever movies look like then, and entertainment in general, it will be present for sure. He will know how to use it from there. Excellent. All right. Well, let's see. My number 4. I'm cheating a little bit and doing a tie because I can't choose between the two. It's the both Steven Soderbergh movies that came out this year. Presence, way back in January, which I technically saw in 2024. So it was kind of, I could call it my best of 2024. It's that good. I love his take on a ghost story. Speaking about tours, he comes up with an amazing first-person point of view camera that functions as a ghost, and you watch things unspool from the ghost perspective. And then what's great about it, to your point earlier, Kevin, about wanting to rewatch a movie right after you finish it, you get to the end of Presence, you get that great ending, and then I immediately went back and watched it again because suddenly you're like, oh, that's what's been going on, and then the fun is figuring out when does the camera know what things that you learn later on, and thinking about the camera being our surrogate, not just as a character for the person in the movie, but surrogate as the audience. It's a great conceit that Soderbergh, in a cerebral way, uses to perfect effectiveness. So Presence is up there. And then the other one that he did that I saw this year, that came out this year, was Black Bag, which is complete opposite. Just a great sort of masterclass in really fun script construction that he executes perfectly. Both movies are written by David Koepp, who's does a great job turning sort of traditional genres on their head in general. And Soderbergh is the perfect match for him in that way. And Black Bag is just this one fun, efficient, lean, mean thriller. Great cast. Pierce Brosnan doing a variation on James Bond if he had gotten old and joined MI6 and didn't go out in the field anymore. Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, just great actors, just really relishing the lines and moments that Koepp gives them. So both of those movies just, again, indicate why Soderbergh is one of our greats, and constantly doing such great work in very different genres, but always really smart and clever. Speaking of great auteurs, my number 3 is Jim Jarmusch's Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, which is a movie that won the Venice Film Festival, amazingly enough, and then basically vanished off the face of the earth, sadly. It is finally coming out on Christmas Day, but it's a beautiful film, and I think one of his just most insightful into human relationships, and especially the dynamics between parents and kids. It's really, really lovely. It's a series of 3 nested short stories where certain details carry over, but each one also tells its own story. There's a lot of great humor in it, some amazing actors in it. And yeah, it just hit me in a real way. I'd heard going into seeing it, the buzz was not great. Some people were like, oh, it's not one of his best, but I disagree. I think it's a really terrific achievement in a quiet way. It's not an announcement film. It's just a really perfectly observed, perfect Jarmusch film. And he's a director for me. He's never made a bad movie. There are ones I like more than others, but he's never made a bad film. And I think this one ranks towards the top for me of the stuff he's done, especially recently. So
I'm so excited to see that one after hearing. I haven't seen that one yet, and it was definitely another one that I'm trying to get to over the holidays. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you liked it so much, and it's It's making me want to go even more after hearing your review about it.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I hope people do seek it out. Again, I do feel bad that it sort of vanished, and I get why. It is a smaller movie. There's other more quote unquote important films in the mix, but it's a really lovely film. And if you love Jarmusch especially, it's really great to see him working at this level. All right, into number 2 and number 1. Let's do our 2 and 1 separate. So Mia, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is Sinners. I don't have much more to say except ditto to what Kevin just said. But I know, obviously it's an amazing film, really blew me away. And I put it at my number 2.
My number 2 is It Was Just an Accident. I think, agreeing with everything Ethan said earlier, I think what really kind of blew me away was the length of some of these scenes and how Benai directs it, where it's just a really unobtrusive camera, letting moments play out, culminating in just a really kind of long and agonizing, stunning sequence that really just doesn't feel like anything out there. I think because of how it's presented, because of we know what went into the making of it, it feels so special, and I'm glad to see it getting the recognition broadly that it deserves. Palme d'Or is one thing, but I'm glad to see it entering the Oscar conversation so strongly.
That kind of reminds me of how the Train Dreams was filmed too. You're kind of just in that scene with, like watching them. You're not feeling rushed, and like a similar feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm expecting to see Panahi accepting the Best Director trophy. I really do think that that's gonna happen. It'll be a great moment when he does. I think it'll be really wonderful to see him celebrate it that way. My number 2 is the anime Scarlet from Mamoru Hosoda, who's the director behind some great films, including Mirai and most recently Belle, which is a terrific sort of variation on Beauty and the Beast. And this new one is a variation on Hamlet. Something's in the water this year because there's been a lot of variations on Hamlet released. But this is the only one that has an enormous dragon-type creature that attacks at the end that everyone has to fight. But it's a delight. First of all, it's just a visually incredible film. It combines 2D backgrounds with 3D animation. It takes place first in the real world, and then when the Hamlet analog, whose name is Scarlet, dies, we go to again, not a spoiler, that's happened in the first 15 minutes. We go to a sort of netherworld where much of the action plays out as she tries to fight her way back to the land of the living. There's a lot of great Shakespeare allusions, but mainly it's just beautiful spectacle, really just robust action and storytelling, and a great musical number midway through. As with so many things this year, just music factors in wonderful ways. And there's an act break musical number in this that I'm still thinking about. That's terrific. So Scarlet, see it on the biggest screen you can. It is sort of the forgotten movie in this year's animated Oscar race, unfortunately, because I think it's been slow to get out there and screen for people. But it's stayed with me. I can't wait to go back and see it again.
That was something that Scarlett had topped the Gold Derby predictions for a really long time. I think before K-pop Demon Hunters came out and took over the world, and more of that slate kind of filled out. But yeah, I definitely need to check that out.
All right, and our number ones, drum roll. Mia, kick us off.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of this, I really didn't have like a surefire number 1 this year, but I did go with Hamnet. I think obviously, as we've talked about, you just can't ignore the acting. I loved watching the relationship between Jessie Buckley's character and Paul Mescal's character. It's just gorgeous to watch, really takes you into a different world. There were some scenes, where kids were going through excruciating ordeals that I thought were too long, to be quite honest. I didn't need to see quite as much. It was hard to watch and almost took me away from the love story and the other great things about the film. But overall, I just thought it was a phenomenal film. And I put it at my number 1 slot this year.
Are you a crier, Mia?
So I am a crier, but weirdly I did cry, but not as much as the bring a tissue box that everyone told me. My sleeve was fine. It was I didn't need a whole tissue box for this one. But I mean, it's so sad, but I also kind of thought it was hopeful. There was a lot of emotions going on. So I wasn't just doing an ugly cry the whole time.
Chloe Zhao's got my number, which is it's frightening. I think it was 5 minutes into Nomadland that tries to speak to her, I smell the coat, and I started crying. I was like, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad.
But in a great way.
Yes, yeah, no, yeah, one of my in my number 1, I've got One Battle After Another. It just, I mean, at this point, it is exhausting as I kind of talk about. I think what Anderson does, returning to the present, he silences all the questions of whether he had been avoiding the present moment, and whether he could still kind of comment on what people today, how people act, how people think and act. And I don't think he was consciously trying to rebuke that notion, but it's so thoroughly present, and telling about the moment that we're in. And I think it portrayed and ridiculed so much of what our world is like right now, and it's such a thrilling and funny way. I think it could. I mean, it's not anywhere close to being didactic. It's in fact, it's quite the opposite. I think what's probably the most surprising thing about it is that you've had this writer director who throughout his career, began kind of working with genre tropes and making things that were, resembled noirs or kind of Altman movies, and dipped his toe into the kind of the genre field. But then, really, with this, just shows a complete mastery of Hollywood blockbuster filmmaking. I think the second viewing of this movie was almost more surprising, just because knowing where it's going, seeing how the scenes connect to each other, you see how precisely it's constructed and how lean and intentional everything is. I love it. I love it. And Ethan, if it only had that one death, we would not have had Semen Demon in the year 2025.
That is true.
So I don't know what else to say other than that.
It's a trade-off. There's a fair point on the trade-off there. Well, my number one, you both know it already, so I won't bore you too much, but it's The Testament of Anne Lee, which is a just Mona Fastful. It's a really bold, creative swing of doing a period drama about Mother Anne Lee, the founder of the Shakers, just in musical fashion, incorporating Shaker hymns in new ways, using these really rhythmic dance sequences. It was something that when I was watching it again at Toronto, there's a theme here clearly. Seeing it, seeing her take a gamble on that, and it pays off so effectively. The themes that she's working with in terms of what faith means for Anne and breaking out of her station in life, the compositions of each frame are so carefully thought out, and the way the characters move within those frames. It's just a wonderful piece of direction with an incredible lead performance by Amanda Seyfried as Anne Lee. So that one, I think that one is a movie that's challenging. It's not easy to watch. I guess I'm not surprised, unfortunately, that it has not been taking off with voters like the way I'd hoped. But I think it's going to stand the test of time and definitely be one that people will return to as a really major achievement of this year.
Both of your number ones have stood the test of time. You guys didn't really change from the beginning of when we saw all these things, right? I feel like nothing swayed you away from your favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the sort of Damocles hanging over my head right now is my one battle prediction, which it's still holding up. We'll still see.
I think you're probably safe.
Yeah, we'll see.
See, a couple of honorable mentions. Just Sinners is definitely on my list. I'm sorry it didn't make the final 10, but it is a very important movie, and I did love my experience watching it. I know I'll be revisiting it down the line. Another double bill, Nouvelle Vague and Blue Moon from Richard Linklater. Again, a terrific director, a true credit to American directors, and both of those movies are really wonderful. K-pop Demon Hunters. I love the way that movie just took off. It's a really fun movie, really enjoyable, and just seeing it become a phenomenon was great. Merrily We Roll Along, the film version of the Sondheim play. I'm glad that film version exists because it was a terrific production, and I hope more people get to see it as a result, because that's the ideal way to experience that play now. And then Avatar Fire and Ash is my last one as an honorable mention. As an Avatar bro, I'm all in on Pandora and still continue to enjoy that film, as you can know from our previous Avatar discussion that we had on previous awards magnet. Any honorable mentions on your sides?
I have one similar overlap, which was Blue Moon. I think that was, I thought Ethan's performance was great in that. The dialogue is like a firecracker of just great lines, one after the other. So I really enjoyed that one, and I think that was going to be my honorable mention.
Mine is Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cloud, which is a Japanese movie that's, I think, pretty widely available on Criterion Channel now. Just one of the best movies to go in knowing nothing and just kind of letting it carry you along, because I think where it goes and how it develops is such a big part of the joy of it. But the basic pitch on it is that there is this young guy who is a reseller, and he goes around kind of lowballing at different products and then flipping them on the internet and just trying to make a life out of that. And where it goes is so much crazier than what that log line would suggest. Is just a really, really interesting and good watch, especially for people who know Kurosawa. It's really one worth tracking down.
Good, all good movies to track down once you've heard of our lists. Just some quick bonus notes for in lieu of doing a worst list. Just a movie that maybe didn't quite work for you. The one for me that I saw this year that it wasn't made for me, so I'll say that Lilo and Stitch, the live action redo of the Disney movie. I love the original; it's still great. This new one, oh, I don't know. I was let down by the some of the changes they made and the obviousness that it was made for Disney Plus and not for theaters. I definitely felt like I was watching a Disney Plus movie on the big screen. So anything on your ends that didn't quite work for you?
For me, I think it's also because I just went in with such high expectations and hopes, but it was Marty Supreme. Just didn't hit for me. I kept thinking, why are we here? We're telling a story about a really unlikable guy that really doesn't change. I mean, it's not like he has this big arc and realizes or, learns something, or he's just kind of unlikable the whole time, as is literally everybody that is surrounding him. I mean, there's like not one force for good in that film. Yeah, it just didn't really work for me. I like the pacing of it. Timothy Chalamet was, mostly sweaty, but like really good in it. And like, I was just like, I did think the performances were good. But it just, it didn't work as well as I had hoped for me.
Mia, I'm sorry to do this to you, but we have Timothy Chalamet on the Zoom with us right now. Timmy, if you could come in.
come in out of frame, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll debate it with him. I like the orange outfits. I like the red carpet stuff. But it's not like my favorite of your films. Sorry.
I am, in the gentlest way possible, with the most due respect, people who have worked in the office with me may have heard me screaming about Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't know what to say about this. I think the whole notion of a Jurassic Park sequel is questionable at this point. I mean, obviously, Lost World is directed by Steven Spielberg, so you're never going to have too bad of a bad time. But beyond the kitschy popcorn junk of Jurassic Park 3, which I think is perfectly defensible, Jurassic World is just leaving me completely flat. We need a bar rescue on the Jurassic World franchise. I want to drop the word world. Let's just leave it behind us. It's been no good for any of us. I'm so happy for everyone who got paid to make that movie. That those were jobs that people had. I wish them all the best. But that's probably the best I can say about that.
It's fair. And unfortunately, that was written by David Koepp. So he just needs to work with Soderbergh, clearly. Soderbergh needs
to... going to name names, buddy.
That's like the best thing you could say. That's like, it's not good.
Oh man! All right, well, let's jump to our last thing. That's just the best experience you had in a movie theater this year. It doesn't have to be the best movie, but just the best experience. And for me, it was two screenings of Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which is this a wonderful Borat meets Back to the Future meets early Michel Gondry comedy that's coming out in February for everyone else to see. But it is I don't want to say anything more about it than that. Just go see it, even if you don't know the web series it's based on. It's a Canadian web series that dates back to 2007. You can go in completely blind, as I did, and just have a great time. Both times I saw it, it was one of the best experiences I had with an audience, as we all discovered this wonderful, crazy, delightfully daffy thing together. So keep that in mind. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, coming February.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm too. I really want to see that. Mine is probably, I'm just going to say it's my most recent, and it's totally, we haven't even talked about this movie. It's not on the awards radar, but I went to the Housemaid premiere on Monday, and it was so fun to watch with an audience. It's so campy, and there's like scenes that are over the top, and everyone's like, what? Like, they're just like making noises. Like, there's this disgusting scene where Sydney Sweeney's like kind of cutting open her stomach. Like, it's just, if you're like, it's like really fun to watch with an audience. Obviously, Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried were there, so that was even more fun. But it was just, if you go in and you're there for all the wildness, it is a fun ride.
I'm looking forward to that one for sure. The book is a lot of fun, so I'm glad Paul Feig's the right guy to do it. I think.
Totally, yeah. And they went for it. Like Amanda Seyfried, just like so good in it, and yeah, it's just fun.
With a bullet, my pick has got to be the ending of Weapons, which I think is the most satisfying payoff that any movie has this year. It's among that movie's many achievements. The moves it makes to put everything in a position to, and to not spoil anything, but when he gets to what the payoff is going to be, and is kind of coach the audience along the way to know exactly what this all means in the moment it happens, is just pure delight. It's caught up with my brother in my hometown over a trip back to Chicago, and the belly laughs that were had. It's just absolutely disgusting, and just in the very, very best way. It was so easy to pick for me.
Excellent. Well, here's to many more great movie theater experiences in 2026. Hope everyone listening and watching had great holidays. Get ready. The awards season is going to begin right away as we head into January with all the different ceremonies and things. And then it's going to start all over again as new stuff gets released. So we'll be here every step of the way. Thanks all for your time, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to Awards Magnet, Gold Derby podcast. Like what you heard? Leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Awards Magnet is produced by Andrew Merrill. Our logo is designed by Chelsea Sakura. Please like and subscribe to stay on top of all the awards news, and email us at awardsmagnet@goldderby.com.